Hello and welcome everybody to 2024 already. I can't believe it. It's been a while since I've done a video actually. And we are talking today about refunds and just thought, let me walk you through this article and kind of give you some things to think about as you are considering this option. So we have a new article called XETA Refund Tutorial. This goes into why the refunds, how it works, and so forth. But let's go through it in video and I'll give you some things to consider as well. You can find this, of course, in the Discord as well as our Twitter page at XETA LLC. Go ahead and please search for that, and it should be the most recent tweet, or by the time you watch this, maybe the last couple of tweets. I'm not going to read this word for word. I don't think people appreciate that in video, but we are going to read parts of it. So first, who's this for? That's the very first thing. This is for, and you will find what I'm about to say in the article as well. This is for anybody that went into XETA Black or XETA Genesis, not XETA Blue. So again, if you were in Blue, you got migrated to Genesis, this isn't for you. If you went directly into Genesis or directly into Black with stablecoin, this is for you, potentially, if you want to take it. So if you went in with direct stablecoin, you have the option of getting a refund. And the reason for that is because we are going private. We are going to be shutting XETA down publicly. And then, of course, as you know, there's a 60% annual return in that new model. And that's something that maybe people feel like they didn't sign up for. So understandably so, we are going to allow people to get out if that's something they'd like to do. So this is a one-time, of course, that should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, one-time total refund, deposits and fees. Let's talk about that. So you went into, say, XETA Black or Genesis, doesn't matter, and you put $100,000 in, and you paid $10,000 in fees, let's just say, and you want a refund. You are entitled in that scenario to $110,000 in refunds. Now, let's say in that same scenario, you also withdrew $20,000. Then you are eligible for a $90,000 refund. 110, subtract 20. So kind of keep that in mind. It is deposits plus fees minus withdrawals that you have received. And a little, I think this is maybe one of the only things, not the only thing, but one of them that I didn't touch on, which is, what if you're waiting on a withdrawal but you want the refund? So you'll get the airdrop, right? And then that will be subtracted from whatever your refund is come April, if that makes sense. So if you're waiting on something, but you still want the refund, that airdrop, you can go through the refund, you'll still get it. That'll just be subtracted from whatever you received to make you completely whole from where you started. So let's go ahead and just dive into some of the details here. So obviously you can see members who participated in Black and Genesis, and of course you have to initiate it. And then, of course, it says not available from the migration model. There's just too many nuances, guys, with the token model. There's a DEX, at least two DEXs, DEX, OTC, token buybacks, friend zones, lakes, oceans, pools. It's just, it's path to least resistance is just straight stablecoin. And then, of course, we will get into the NFT thing in just a moment. And there's actually a key point, and that's why I wanted to get on video to kind of run you through some things. But so today is obviously January 1st, depending on when you watch this, but obviously today, January 1st. We opened this last night, and 2 nights ago, and this will run until Sunday, January 7th, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you must open your ticket by then. There's no exceptions. It's not going to be somebody missed it by 2 minutes or 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months or any of that kind of stuff. Please open it by then. Now, consequently, if, I won't even get into that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Just give me one moment. And of course, you see, should a refund request not be made within the specified time, members will forfeit their opportunity to do so. Any refund that you are owed will be paid out during the very first airdrop inside the private system, which will be April. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, there's literally, let me shrink my head here a little bit so I can get my head out of the way. And there is a step-by-step guide. Thank you, JT, for putting this together. You did a wonderful job. Before we even get into this, let me just kind of, one last point. So the NFTs. We have to get through the refund process before the NFTs are airdropped. Why? Because anybody who wants a refund is obviously not going to get an NFT. They're exiting the system. So we need to know who is opting out by getting the refund so they don't get the NFT, so we know who does get the NFTs, if that makes sense. So there's a time difference that I want you to consider. So some people want advice on what to do. Can't give advice. I'm not going to give advice, but I am going to give you just some things to keep in mind. One of those is obviously if you want a refund, if you're entitled to a refund, whatever that amount may be, you will get that, like I said, in the first airdrop in the private system, which will be in April. So you would need to wait until April. Okay? If you opt to do that, you will not get the NFT. Okay? If you say, I don't want the refund, then you will get the NFTs. You'll get the NFTs. Our goal right now is probably next week, second week of January, give or take. They're pretty much done. So I think that's a pretty realistic goal. So you would get that in that scenario next week, NFTs, versus refund in April. These are things that just take into consideration. I'm not going to guarantee what the NFTs will go for in the open market because it is an open market that we don't control. However, what you would want to do when trying to kind of consider this is to take your entire position, so counts, pools, unclaimed profits, whatever you see on the D-Up right now, just assume the pools are not going to update. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Take everything you see, add it all together, divide that by 250. That's how many NFTs you'll get. Now, if you get some weird number that is not divisible, divide down to the nearest 250. That's how many NFTs you'll get. Those NFTs, regardless of what they sell for on the open market, if people opt to sell them, which I'm sure they probably will, whatever they sell for, I don't care if it's $5 or $5,000 per NFT, they are worth $250 balance, 60% off that annually. Okay, so regardless of what they sell for, some people, might want to grab them and sell at a higher price once the airdrop comes. Some people might want to grab them and just get out and sell them at a low price, or some people just might want to hold them and stay in the system, or do a little bit of all three. Whatever the case may be, there's a time factor to take into consideration when you're making your decision. I just wanted to point that out because I think it's a little easier to communicate on video than it is over text, of course. So, in this article, you'll see a refund tutorial. Let me just run you through this real quick. So head to XETA Zendesk here. If you don't know what Zendesk is, it's just a ticket support software, and it does about 9 million other things, but we're just using it for ticket support tickets. Discord support tickets, as you know, are wonky, weird, and then there's people who are not in Discord, so what do? So this is something that's better, more like an actual business. So you click this little link that says here. Of course, in the Discord, you'll see it's in the announcement as well. You will see this page. It says sign in to XETA. Let me zoom in. And what does this mean? Well, a couple things. So you have to create an account with Zendesk. If you've ever used any kind of help desk before, whatever it may be, oftentimes they will require you make another account with the help desk aside from your other account. So that's what we're doing here. There's a couple ways to do this. You don't have to create a new account. You can actually sign in with X Corp, as we know, Twitter. You can sign in with your Twitter account, Facebook, Google, or Microsoft. This doesn't give us or Zendesk access to your account. All this does is it's like a single sign-on that basically says, authenticate me with an account I already have, just because it's easier. So you could do any one of these. They work just fine to test it. If you prefer not to do that, or you don't have one for some reason, you can click this where it says new to XETA, sign up. I'm not going to run through that. It's just a simple sign-up page. Or if you click one of these, you can sign in that way, and that's what I'm going to do. And as long as it's if it's a super old account, sometimes you'll have some issues, but otherwise it should be generally okay. You need to do this before you can create a ticket. So go ahead, and we're going to do that right now. I went ahead and just signed in with an existing account. Let me zoom out a little bit and let me move my head a little bit. There we go. Get my head out of the way. Not conducive for recording a video. I have a big head. Okay, so a few things here. And, some of these have descriptive points. Some of these are self-explanatory, but it's worth going through. Anyway, which is that the very first thing you want to do is you want to put in your wallet address. This should be, again, obvious, but whether it's obvious or not, it's worth pointing out. So whatever wallet address you used in Zeta Genesis or Zeta Black, not Zeta Blue. So sometimes there may be people who were in Blue, used the same wallet to go into Black, and then got migrated. So everything's under one wallet. What will happen is you can get a refund for just the Black or the Genesis part directly that you went into. The Blue will remain. Does that make sense? So keep in mind, if you have multiple things, if you went in, maybe you went into Black, Blue, and Genesis all under the same wallet, and you want to get just your Zeta Black refund, or just your Zeta Genesis refund, or the Zeta Black and Genesis refund, but keep the Blue, even because it got migrated. You can do that. You're only going to get the Black or the Genesis, even if it's under the same wall. So kind of keep that in mind. You might have everything under the same wallet. That's okay, not a problem. Just whatever Genesis and or Zeta Black wallet you had, please put that in here. I mean, it'll all be Genesis now, but you kind of, depending which one you went into first. And in blockchain, of course, you only got two options. Did you go in Avalanche or did you go in Ethereum? Discord username, Twitter username are not necessary. They can be helpful because they give us an ability to reach out to you if, I don't know, we're not getting an answer on your ticket or whatever the case may be. It just gives us another avenue, another modality to get in touch. Ticket type, there is only one ticket for right now. This will change. But as of right now, it's just refund, just to keep things clean so we know all tickets coming in are just refunds. It's just a little easier. Date issue occurred. This doesn't really matter. Just put today's date. It doesn't. You could put any date you want, but I'd say just put today's date. Subject and body don't really matter unless there's something that you feel like you need to tell us. Now, one thing I will say is after you open this ticket, what will happen is you will get an email. Okay, that email will basically say, hey, we received your ticket. Thanks for opening it. We'll do what we can to get back to you within 2 to 3 days. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I put that in there just as a little bit of a buffer. 2 to 3 days, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Just kind of bear with us if you don't mind. And then when you receive a response, on your ticket, you'll get another email with the response and so forth. You can actually respond to any of those emails to respond to the ticket. Okay, so you can literally do this over email. There is secondarily another way to do it. If you want, you don't have to do this, but some people might have multiple tickets open and multiple email threads might start to get a little confusing. Maybe not. Maybe you're fine with it, but if you're not, when you're logged in here, you can click your name on the upper right-hand corner. Of course, mine says Passive Progressive Income. And when you click it, you'll see requests, profile, requests, activities. You can kind of ignore most of it. Like I said, Zendesk does too much, more than it should. You can click requests. And all your various tickets will be in here. Okay, so if you got 5 tickets or 10 tickets or 2 tickets or whatever, you can easily see them in here. You can click them individually and respond. It's just a little bit cleaner that way. So this is pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but I thought, this is probably something to get on video and kind of definitely explain the NFT thing because I want people to understand there's a time difference. Now, I held off on saying something earlier because I got ahead of myself. If you are looking at your account, you see, boy, I'm going to add all this together. I'm going to get this number of NFTs, all this kind of stuff versus a refund. And you're just like, I want to go for the NFTs instead. But you already opened a ticket. You can change your mind if you want. Don't change your mind too many times if you don't mind. Just kind of decide what you want to do. But if you already opened the ticket and you're now just watching this and you're just like, oh gosh darn it, I wouldn't have known that if I had this information. You can change your mind before the deadline. So January 7th, scroll up again. January 7th right here at 11:59 p.m. If you have a ticket open and just before this time frame, you prayed on it, meditated on it, whatever, and you just say, I want to do the NFTs instead, just let us know the ticket as long as it's before this time frame. Hey, I don't want to do the refund, I want to do the NFTs, okay. Just again, don't change your mind 3 or 4 times if you don't mind. It's we have a number of tickets and a few people to help, so it just if you could just you can change your mind, just only do it once if you don't mind. Of course, this whole article is going to run through the exact same thing I just did. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, let me know. And the Discord, let our team know. And I should say, Gavin, if I can get him, but do some sort of, it was called an end of year in review. That's probably the wrong term. It was more or less just an update, can get on and answer some questions, things like that, especially with the airdrop and the wire and all the other stuff. So sometime this week we will do that. It may get pre-recorded. If it does, I will let you know so you can submit some questions. It just with everything going on family-wise and everything, sometimes it's just easier if I can pre-record it. And that's more or less like, okay, so there are things that we're working on, but I tried not to share too many details. And don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes a game of telephone goes on, and say one thing, and all of a sudden somebody's talking about the sky's green. I'm not being rude, but that does happen. So in order to just remove the confusion, it's better if we work on things and only share specifically what we know for a fact is going to go through. And then, okay, guys, this is how it's going to happen, and we're looking at this date, that, and the third, and then share the details, right? Because otherwise, I'm going to drive you guys nuts, just like I'm being driven nuts with some of the different things we're working on trying to get that resolved. So I just think it's better that way. With that in mind, I think some sort of video, audio, whatever update is just, I think people appreciate it. And it's actually been a heck of a long time. I was just thinking the other day, it's been a really long time since I've done any kind of video. I don't even remember actually. So I just thought you guys might appreciate it. A little introduction to the new year and into the closed project. Again, any questions, let us know in our Discord, and we will go from there. And much love to you guys, and we will talk soon. Take care, and God bless.